Everyone told him to stay in his limits. He didn't listen, and that's exactly why his story is different. The boy who chose fire over fear. They said he was dreaming too big, not in a supportive way, but in a way that sounded like a warning. Stay in your limits. People like us don't reach that level. Be realistic. Those words followed him everywhere, in his home, in his school, in his surroundings. But what they didn't know was those same words were slowly turning into fuel. Because sometimes the more the world tries to shrink your dreams, the more dangerous your ambition becomes. This is not just a story about success. This is a story about obsession, about rejection, about failure, and about a boy who learned something powerful from a man named Elon Musk. A boy named Ayaan. Ayaan grew up in a place where survival was the only goal. Nobody talked about innovation. Nobody talked about changing the world. People worked, they struggled, they adjusted, and then they repeated the same cycle. But Ayaan's mind didn't fit into that cycle. While other kids were busy playing games, he was busy asking questions. Why are we limited? Why can't someone from here do something big? Why does the world belong to only a few people? He didn't have answers, but he had curiosity. And sometimes, curiosity is more powerful than knowledge. Every night, Ayaan would go to the rooftop and stare at the sky, not just looking at stars, but imagining himself beyond them. One night, his sister asked, "Why do you always look up there?" He replied softly, "Because one day, I don't want to just look at it, I want to reach it." She laughed, not to hurt him, but because she had already learned what the world teaches early, know your limits. But Ayaan didn't accept that lesson. At school, things weren't any better. Teachers focused on marks, students focused on fitting in. Dreams were allowed, but only safe ones. Doctor, engineer, teacher. But when Ayaan spoke, he didn't sound safe. He sounded different. One day, during a class activity, he said, "I want to build something that can go beyond Earth, something that makes space accessible." The class went silent for a second, and then came the laughter. Loud, sharp, unstoppable, one boy said. "What are you, Elon Musk?" Another added, "First, fix your life, then talk about space." Even the teacher smiled lightly and said, "Ayaan, focus on something realistic." That word again, realistic. That day, Ayaan didn't argue. But inside, something shifted. He realized that if he waited for people to believe in him, he would be waiting forever. So he made a silent decision. He would believe in himself, even if nobody else did. That night changed everything. Using a borrowed phone, he searched one name, Elon Musk. What he found wasn't just success. It was struggle. It was failure. It was risk. He read how Elon Musk invested everything he had, how his rockets failed, how people called him crazy, how he faced near bankruptcy, and yet he didn't stop. That was the moment Ayaan understood something important. Greatness is not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. From that day, Ayaan stopped dreaming casually and started working seriously. His mornings began before sunrise. He worked at a small shop to support his family. His days were spent in school, and his nights were dedicated to learning. Without proper resources, without guidance, without support, he used whatever he could find. Broken electronics, old wires, discarded machines. People saw junk. He saw opportunity. Every failure taught him something. Every mistake made him sharper. But the journey wasn't easy. There were days when nothing worked. Days when everything went wrong. Days when he questioned himself. His father often said, "Stop wasting your time. Focus on something that will actually help you survive." And Ayaan understood his father. He wasn't wrong. He was just limited by his experiences. But Ayaan chose a different path. Not because it was easy, but because it was meaningful. Years passed, slowly, quietly. Ayaan improved. Not dramatically, but consistently. And then came a moment that almost ended everything. After months of effort, he built a small working model. It wasn't perfect, but it was his biggest step so far. He took it to an open field. His heart was racing. His hands were shaking. He believed in this moment. He truly did. He started the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Nothing happened. He tried again. Still nothing. Then suddenly, a spark. And within seconds, everything exploded. The model shattered. Smoke filled the air. And just like before, people laughed. But this time, it felt heavier. Because this time, he had given everything. That night, Ayaan sat alone, surrounded by broken pieces and broken confidence. For the first time, he thought about quitting, not because he didn't care anymore, but because he cared too much. And sometimes that hurts even more. As he sat there, his sister came and quietly sat beside him. She didn't say anything at first. She just picked up one broken part and looked at it. Then she said, "If it didn't break, how would you know it's weak?" Ayaan looked at her. She continued, "You told me about Elon Musk, right? His rockets failed too." He nodded slowly. "Then why are you stopping after one failure?" That question stayed with him. It didn't motivate him instantly, but it made him think. And sometimes, thinking is the first step to change. The next morning, Ayaan didn't feel strong. He didn't feel confident. But he showed up, and that was enough. He started again, not with excitement, but with discipline. Day by day, step by step, he improved. He learned, he adapted, and slowly, he grew. Years later, Ayaan got an opportunity to present his work at a small tech exhibition. It wasn't a big stage. It wasn't a big audience, but for him, it was everything. He prepared quietly, no noise, no announcements, just focus. When the day came, he stood there, not as the boy people laughed at, but as someone who had survived his own doubts. He presented his model. People watched carefully. He launched it. There was a moment of silence, and then it worked, not perfectly, but enough to prove something, not to the world, but to himself, that he was capable, that he was improving, that he was not the same person anymore. After the event, someone asked him, "What inspired you to keep going?" Ayaan smiled and said, "People used to compare me with Elon Musk, to mock me." He paused. "But I realized something. I don't need to become Elon Musk. I just need to become someone who refuses to quit. Like him." That was his truth. And that's the truth most people ignore. Success is not about being special. It's about being consistent when everything inside you wants to stop. The world will always doubt you, not because you're weak, but because your courage challenges their comfort. So don't wait for approval. Don't wait for support. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because none of that is coming. What matters is this: will you continue when it's hard? Will you continue when nobody believes in you? Will you continue when you fail? Because if the answer is yes, then nothing can stop you. Not circumstances, not people, not even your own fears. And maybe, just maybe, one day, people will stop laughing and start listening.